Oh man, welcome back.
Welcome back for more Hollow Earth adventures.
It's like you didn't even leave.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna put this out in a week from the last episode, or a few days, or a few hours. It could be any time that we're putting this thing out there.
Yeah, we're wild cannons. You don't know what we're gonna do.
We're wild cannons and loose stallions.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, how did you know that was the name of my acoustic guitar band, Loose Stallions?
Oh, Napster back in the day. So thank you for coming back.
Yes.
And wanting to tackle all these heads that have popped up that we have cut off of this Hydra.
Yeah, and just to remind you, I'm Dave Stecco.
And I'm David Flora. And this is Blurry Photos and part 2 of our Hollow Earth episode.
Our expose, our in-depth, hard-hitting expose. Chung chung.
Gong 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 gong. I had enough of the thunder sound. We're doing all our Foley now live.
Yep. Now we beatbox.
Here's a hard hitting expose sound anyway.
Oh God, that sounded like Cobra Commander screaming a little bit.
You know what? It sure did. I don't know. I don't know these sounds before I put them in. That's what's going on. And now I have to match them so that I don't have to edit out a bunch of crap. That
new favorite game.
So that's gonna happen. But anyway, so getting back to Hollow Earth.
Yeah, let's get back into part 2 of the Hollow Earth.
When you go into the holes at the opening of the inner Earth, your magnets, your compasses, all that stuff, your equipment is just supposed to go haywire. And then if you keep going, you're going to end up seeing the dinosaurs and the plants and the rivers and the crystal cities.
And the giants.
The giants. There are giants there that are real nice, telepathic. I mean, this is all stuff that was going to come out, but I'm so flustered by these findings of science.
Yeah, science has no place in a discussion of the Hollow Earth.
All right, well, let's get to Nazis then. Let's just move on to the Nazis.
And there were some guys, some Norsemen, some Norwegian gentlemen,
some Thorsons,
who decided to take a summer trip together. They decided this to bring it back into people finding it. Mm-hmm. They loaded up a month's worth of supplies in a boat and decided, hey, let's see how far north we can get in a boat, because that's Norwegian fun. And lo and behold, they saw a mountain in the distance. And this is something you do hear repeatedly. There's this viewing of a mountain that is not recognized.
Sure. People
go to it almost like a beacon. And these guys ended up taking a boat into the Hollow Earth.
Yeah, didn't realize it.
Right, didn't realize it. And then the ocean kind of narrowed into a river of sorts.
Yep.
And then they met giants who fed them grapes the size of apples or
peaches and stuff. Yeah, the giants were like 12 feet tall.
And very nice.
Very, very sweet, very kind.
They spent a year amongst the giants, learning their ways.
Very advanced scientifically and in every way. They had their flying crafts, monorail type things, better energy than electricity. I mean, utopia.
And that's the thing that is irritating. I mean, like, no one goes there and says this place sucks.
Yeah.
It's almost like a Rorschach for whatever the people want to see. Like, these guys like grapes. Guess what? There's giant apple-sized grapes.
Yeah.
Hooray.
These guys like humans. There's giant humans.
Everything is better inside the earth. There's nothing worse.
You don't have to talk. You think.
Yeah, that's better.
You don't want to take a biplane. Take this hovering craft.
They have the PlayStation 9 down there. Yeah. Everything's better there. And Nicki Minaj doesn't exist there. She's gone.
She's... Unless it is run by reptilians, in which case...
It's all Nicki Minaj all the time.
She's come to the surface to claim her ownership over the Earth.
Dominion. Let's talk Nazis.
So Nazis went down there. The Nazi Thule Society, they sought an opening in Antarctica. Mm-hmm. There's a ton of info and thought that they were developing and probably did, send a submarine fleet down there to check this stuff out. 1944 or thereabouts. Who knows if they found it or not? I mean,
I'll tell you what I like about the Nazi story is that, first of all, I am a Nazi.
oh, I see.
That's one thing I like about it.
Reptilian and a Nazi. Now it's all coming together.
Yeah, that's right. No, I'm not a Nazi, but I like about the story is that there are references of Hitler establishing a base there, and there was a few different people in the German military who made reference to this secret base,
right,
shrouded in the ice.
Right, the eternal ice.
Yeah, and I mean, unless it was fairly inland, that base would be literally ejected into the sea by now. I mean, keep in mind, the entire continent, for the most part, is covered by these glaciers. If it was a base that they had carved into the ice, it's gone now. But I do like the idea of like this secret German base that was just forgotten in history and is just sitting down there because Hitler thought it would be brilliant to have this base no one knows about there. It's very super villainy, and I personally think that would be awesome if that was happening.
Or they did find something and went down there, and then what? Do they stop being evil, horrible Nazis? Are they judged by the people who are peace-loving and the keepers of the planet? Are they turned away? Are they killed? What happens if they do find this thing, you know?
That's a really good point, because as this story evolves into the 20th century, we get into, like Rear Admiral Byrd,
right,
who was supposed to have flown, he received the medal.
Getting to him.
He was a really big deal. He was a hero because he flew over the North Pole.
Mm-hmm. Supposedly.
Supposedly. There is a huge asterisk on that. Some people think he never went there.
Yeah.
Some people think he just flew around for a while and said, I did it.
Made it up to get money and medals.
Mm-hmm. And some people think that he totally did it. And it's actually very much up for debate now.
Sure.
There's a lot of reasons, but some people think that he has a secret diary in which he described a journey into the center of the earth.
A couple, I think.
And there were these, just as you said, these benevolent overseers who allowed Byrd to fly in because they wanted to establish some communication, because they were very alarmed. And you'll hear this in a lot of sort of new age occultist sort of things, this concern about the advent of nuclear energy and the atomic bomb.
Yeah.
And that's you'll see that a lot in ufology. You'll see that a lot in people who do astral projection, the spirit guides, things like that. They were pretty happy to leave us alone until we dropped nuclear bombs somewhere.
Yeah, and then they're like, okay, you guys are going to kill yourselves and take us with you, so...
Exactly. So that was sort of their... And so seen in that light, what do they do when the Nazis show up? They had skulls on their hats. They had to know they were the bad guys.
But then again, this would be the Aryan race that they were fighting for, or the idea.
Now you stepped in it, because who said they were white, dude?
Oh,
you did. Yep,
that's true.
Rorschach. It's whatever you want to find.
I think Byrd said that they were.
Oh, damn it!
Were tall and blonde.
Damn it! I thought I had you pegged. Damn it!
But Admiral Byrd, it's funny because we were reading some of his supposed diary about this, and the thing I love about it is that according to Byrd, they were like, "Oh, you're such a moral and upstanding citizen, and you're so great and such a hero. We want you to be, the standard bearer of the new peace."
Yeah, we need you to lead us against the Kodan Armada. You are the greatest human being that has ever...
You're such high moral standards. Oh, I don't know. That's when I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Not them flying into a hole or anything.
And the other thing that I couldn't track down, and maybe you could, because you're a better researcher than I, David. How did this secret diary get out? What is the story of the secret diary?
They don't know. People think it was either stolen or forged, or maybe it was taken by the government and, locked up, and that maybe he sort of got that information out there piece by piece, orally or something like that, or somebody that knew him got some of that out from what he remembered, or that's a thing. It's all just such malarkey. It's so muddled that nobody knows.
And you know what, this is why this may be so far my favorite topic that we've gone over, because it is such a free for all.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they
even more than Aleister Crowley.
Yeah, maybe there's Robotech down there. Maybe there's giant robots fighting. Because that's what I'd like it to
Transformers be.
Transformers are I mean, it can literally be whatever you want, and we never know, But they're watching over us, but not really.
And we could cobble together some kind of evidence, and I just said that in quotes, by the way. We could cobble that together to support whatever the hell we want to be there.
Right. And it's
we could have did you ever see Dino Riders as a kid?
Oh yeah. Dinosaurs with lasers on them?
Right.
That's pretty great.
That's what's down there.
That is awesome.
It's gotta be.
Well, someone's got to be fighting Robotech.
And they're fighting. Well, they're not fighting reptilians, but they're fighting that frog, and one of them's a snake, I think.
Yeah. See, reptilians.
The Naga. So I want to go real quick through some of the evidence for and again the Hollow Earth stuff. So
I'm for it.
Are you? I bet you
it.
are. You sound like you are. Well, let's go through evidence for it. So we've got the theory that the shell or the crust of the Earth is 800 miles thick, right? And we, as a human species, have only drilled 7.5 miles deep.
We're not even close.
Not even close. Not even close. How do we know?
If it were an M&M, we wouldn't even have made it through the candy shell.
And there's delicious chocolate inside.
Maybe
why aren't we trying?
There's a luminous peanut at the center, lighting their way.
So, by the way, the Soviets are who drilled the deepest so far. But just in case you want to know. But this 800-mile thick crust, I don't know, 400 miles down is where the center of gravity is. Then that's what they're saying.
Yeah, that would be the
weird. So there are government regulations on caves. Have you heard about this?
No.
You can't go in a cave without a federal permit or a federal cave expert accompanying you. And info on caves that aren't public knowledge is not. You cannot obtain that info through the Freedom of Information Act. So that's weird, right?
That is weird. I mean, I don't see how that would keep the secret. I mean, I don't think, what about, there's countries on this planet that don't have the wherewithal to police that or bigger problems. I mean, but that is a weird thing. I mean, I guess you could call it public safety.
True.
But we also have historically used caves.
Right.
We store nuclear waste in them. We store weapons in them,
We recruit the dead to fight, administer. Wait, Mordor.
Yep. See, yeah, we keep our mithril in them, and our +5 goblin slaying daggers there.
That would be the shittiest treasure to get. Oh boy, a +5 dagger of goblin slaying. All right.
So it'd be a pretty great treasure.
I mean, it's. I see the public safety thing. I see that plenty. It is weird though if they won't let you have information that by their own laws they're supposed to give you.
Yeah. Why is that the exception?
Yeah.
Why is caves the thing that lives outside the rule?
Because hell's down there. Don't go. It's hell.
Yeah.
Or is it heaven? Anyway, so that's another fur. Another fur. Seismic evidence. This is a fur, and again, seismic evidence. When there's an earthquake, it makes that there's supposedly information coming out just recently. There's data that says it looks like the Earth is ringing like a bell. Have you heard of that? I have, and I'll tell you, in a strange coincidence to bring this back in, when I was at the South Pole Station, which was in 0203. Was when they had a very large earthquake in Alaska, and there's a lot of geological research that happens there, and all of our seismographs. I just happened over the course of the days happened to be in that building, went crazy, and there was a lot of discussion about how that data travels, how that pressure wave travels through the Earth's crust, and there was a mention about the fact that it doesn't travel directly through. Right. It kind of gets deflected, right?
Right. It actually does ride along the edge of the Earth, is what you're getting. Much like you would imagine a wave moving across the ocean, as opposed to a bullet going through the Earth. That's how that information travels. Can you
put this in terms of pumpkins for me?
I got a good one for watermelons, but man, I am not good with pumpkins. It's a giant turkey that was spherical.
All right, at least we've got a Thanksgiving theme, I guess.
Yeah.
So you don't buy into the seismic data supporting Hollow Earth. You still think it's
No. I mean, I think it's inconclusive for Hollow Earth. But if you were of a mind to you could take it that way, that these things do travel along the exterior of the Earth. They don't go straight through.
I mean, if there's a ton of liquid molten rock and elements, that are filling the mantle and stuff, I would think that it would be hard to get some shock waves through that, especially the thickness of it from the magnetic north to the magnetic south. Anyway.
Yeah, and there's. I mean, without. Oh, you know what? I am a professional geologist. No, I'm not. But yeah, there's a lot of things that would, I guess, militate for or against. I mean, think about a pressure wave in water. It's the best medium for it to travel in. So if there was liquid magma, maybe that would be phenomenal. Maybe it's the stratification of the different layers that help those things pass externally through the outer layers. So the Earth ringing like a bell. I'm not going to disagree with that.
Okay. One more fur. Planes are not allowed to fly directly over the poles.
That is a lie.
Commuter planes can't, but I'm sure government planes are fine.
Yeah, there's at least I've not been to the North Pole, but I know for the South Pole there is a couple of really good reasons for it. First is temperature. Hydraulic fluid freezes at 50 below zero. Mm-hmm. So anything colder than that and anything that's operating with hydraulics will fall out of the sky. That's a huge issue. And to that end, they actually have special aircraft. They're called Twin Otters that don't have hydraulics in them that work independently to help them with that. And they do a lot of the other flying on the continent. But no, the South Pole Station has, during the summer season, 8 flights a day because they have this 4.5 month window to get 12 months worth of supplies into the station. Mm-hmm. So it's a fairly busy airstrip. And we have the LC-130s flying in several times a day. There is commercial planes that come and land. They bring tourists for one day, but they are the smaller Twin Otter style aircraft. But no, you can fly around down there.
Now, you're talking about the
geographic
South Pole and or the ceremonial South Pole.
I mean, those two things are at best 60, 70 feet away from each other. I mean, you can see one from the other. That's not like they're not.
You can pee on one from the.
Yeah.
If you're a good peer.
Don't try to pee outside there. It's going to damage your genitals.
Do you think flying over the magnetic pole they don't, is that what they don't allow because it would mess so much with the aircraft? And
I would imagine it would just cause you a huge number of instrumentation problems, but I mean, anywhere you want to go, people will get to. There's a lot of ways around that. You just, there's even Admiral Byrd took physical bearings on the position of the sun because he was having some problems on his navigation, and that is independent of Hollow Earth or not. That's in the official account of his trip, as well as the secret diary, that there were some navigational problems, and so he took old school nautical bearings of the sun,
sextant and a compass,
and used that to fix his heading.
Sun compass.
So no, it is not illegal. I mean, there are scientific organizations that do it. I don't think that it is. There's no reason for commercial flights to go over there aside from direct tourism. It's not like it's the fastest way to get anywhere, and there is. Because of the cooling effect, there's always a lot of atmospheric disturbances. I mean, the wind is always, the air is in constant motion there. It's at the top and bottom of this global convection current.
Yeah.
It's where the air cools and drops, moves down to the ice sheet, and then moves out to the sea from there, forming those katabatic winds. So, I mean, it's difficult. Even under the best of circumstances, the pilots are hard put upon to land safely at the South Pole.
Yeah, interesting.
But it's certainly not illegal or foreboding to fly there.
All right, so again, the Earth is like we said, made of layers of molten rock, and that's in a mantle, and then there's a core to it.
Yeah, nickel.
That's what is conventionally taught and known. Although, is there a way to prove this? There's not a way to really prove that, right?
I think it's inferred data.
Yeah.
I mean, we see how other things in the solar system operate, and we theorize on the density of the Earth. Given, you can determine, how much gravity we're experiencing at any given point. And you can infer that pretty easily. You can take a mass reading at sea level. You can go to the top of a mountain and take two very accurate mass readings. Those will give you 2 points of data on a chart, and from there you can determine the approximate density of the center of the Earth from where you're standing, because you're going to see that difference in your mass as you get further from that center. Now, how they determine the exact diameter of the center, I think it's been described as a nickel iron core, and that the heat is just leftover. It's residual from the formation of the planet. They're tidal forces that create frictional heat from the initial formation of the Earth, from the spinning of it. And so, when we see constant evidence of that. I mean, volcanism. Where's the lava? Is that in the middle of the 800? Is that like the gooey center of the candy shell?
Apparently for it.
Right, and what's heating that? Where is that energy coming from? The Marianas Trench, the deep thermal vents at the bottom of the ocean. Again, they're nothing on 800 miles deep. They're not even close to that. But there's a lot of heat there, and what's generating that? Because at the end of the day, unless there's one magnificent wizard at the center of all of it, it does have to make sense. It does have to obey thermodynamics. It has to obey some basic physical laws. Now, let's open the possibility that maybe we don't understand physical law properly.
I mean, that's a pretty big door to walk through, too,
right?
Because there's a lot of stuff we don't understand.
Yeah, let's not burn the library down just so that we can have a hollow Earth. But
which probably has happened.
Yeah, exactly. But no, there's just from a heat question of energy deposition, like how would that model work?
Yeah.
Where is that heat generated, and where is it going? And
you touched on kind of my second point of the evidence again, which was the gravity, and how we have observed that massive objects clump together when they're formed, and that hollowness, it's not good for energy when things start spinning and things like that, and you get all that thing, you get everything built up with that force. And to be hollow, a thing this size couldn't support itself. It would collapse in on itself, basically. The force is too great, and it would just pull itself kind of
it would crush in on itself with that vacuum. And again, and how would you have that void? I mean, if the interior portion of the Earth and the exterior were differentially rotating with different speeds, maybe the interior breaks loose, and through its spinning and churning, it separates. But then how do you get that layer, that open space between, where there's the giants and giant grapes and dinosaurs, and that's such a complex, and complex things evolve all the time, and there is no shortage of mysteries in things like the exact power source of a quasar. People don't, it's not well understood. There's a lot of things that happen astronomically that are not well understood.
And dark matter and dark energy for
right. There's plenty of top shelf, genuine scientific mystery out there. The things that would have to be in place for a system that complex to be created and be stable.
They're a little out of what science could probably explain at this point, right?
Right. The Earth is still subject to tidal forces from other planets.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
well, if we didn't have that tidal force from the moon, we would be screwed.
Exactly. And how does that not pull? Imagine a concussion in your head. Your head moves, your brain through your brain through inertia stays still, and it pops the side of your head. When the Earth is pulled by another planet or something, it moves by. Is the pea inside of this thing going to rattle around? I guess is what I'm getting at. That's
a great point. And all of this is boiling down to gravity. I feel like to put it in one kind of all-encompassing no, this isn't right theory.
Yeah.
It's like gravity is the biggest kind of like, how do you explain this in here? And now that I'm looking at this evidence against it, it's like 3 or 4 out of the 4 or 5 that I've got here are gravity related, because also you've got the mass of the Earth, which equals gravity. That's how you get your gravity, pulling how it is. That's why Mars, the gravity is less, the moon and all that junk. The hollow Earth the gravity wouldn't be as much out here if the Earth were hollow. But then again, as we said, that's our theory. That's what we have come to understand or theorize, and gravity still is not there's a Newtonian law, but
you could have anything as the core of the Earth that then supports what the gravity is at this point.
Yeah.
Nickel iron core is because we're very accustomed to seeing nickel and iron, and it works. Maybe it is something more dense. There's maybe it's a little tiny black hole. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's 100 things that could explain for or against that.
Yeah.
But and then here's another question: the outer crust of the Earth has to be differentially thick. It's not uniform. You've got the Himalayas in some areas. You got the Marianas Trench in another. Would the inner core not be attracted to those thicker areas, or would that be some variance, some wobble generated by that? Because it's not a perfectly uniform. Or is 800 miles enough that it's all good enough? It's all semi-stable.
Yeah. Once you get to about 300 miles, it's like, all right, we don't care. It's
right.
This
do what
this
you
is
will.
Stable. Do what thou wilt. I think I've seen or heard somebody say that the inner sun is what helps keep everything in balance. There's some kind of interplay with the gravitational force, and
I think that's the final nail in it right there. Like, if you've got this stable, non-heat producing, or at least gentle heat, this perfect green light bulb in the center of the Earth, what the hell is that? What is that? What is that doing? And whatever your explanation is for that, just keep riding that, because that explains everything else. Like if you're down with a mystical floating 72-degree orb, then you're good. Everything's working out just fine for you, and enjoy your peach-sized grapes. Maybe you have to believe. Man. Maybe that's the key. And there's
maybe everything's genetically modified down there. Maybe it's all like maybe Monsanto owns it all.
I was gonna say that the whole thing is run by My Little Pony.
Well, it could be too. With all the junk that's out there about this, both cool and obviously junk, I have seen things that have said, well, other planets are all hollow, and the sun is hollow, and people live inside it too. It's out there. It's not beyond what people have thought of for this.
Which is awesome in that the sun is a ball of gas. Like you don't hit anything in the sun. You just melt. Like it can't be hollow because there's no outer.
Well, in this inner Earth, which, as we've mentioned before, is called Agartha, there are a number of cities that have been thrown out there, apparently, that exist. I'll go down through the list really quick. We've
places you can visit when you take your boat ride to the middle of the Earth,
and when you don't know you're going over the crest, and then you're there.
Or if you just happen to be flying with a particularly morally upstanding person.
Please visit the lovely capital of Agartha, Shambhala, which we've mentioned. You can also go to Shangri-La.
What?
Ever heard of it? There are also the lovely cities of Telos, Mikos, Catharia, Patiti, and Mount Shasta. Try climbing it.
Wait, another Mount Shasta? Because isn't there already a Mount Shasta? We have one of those.
This is a weird thing. Apparently, gosh, this is where this stuff gets so muddled. Either there's a Mount Shasta above and below, or you can just get to it through our Mount Shasta. I don't know. I can't chop the weeds enough to read what the Incan mystery text
my gosh,
says.
What if it's the underside of our Mount Shasta? It's like doppelganger.
It's like an ice ganger?
It's like Bizarro Shasta.
You just said doppelganger, and I was going to say iceberg and said ice ganger.
I like ice ganger.
No, I was saying, what if it's like an iceberg? What if over there it's like Pyramid at Giza?
Right, and maybe everything on the inside, I don't know, maybe there's like I don't even know what I'm thinking anymore. But there is so many crazy places that, even there are Christian places. The Garden of Eden. You can visit there if you're into that. You can find the lost tribes of Israel.
Oh, that's another thing I was going to mention. There's something that I found that said maybe Cain was banished to the Hollow Earth after he killed Abel, and some of the races that are down there were populated by his line, and that he was maybe a giant, and it sticks its dick in so many buckets, man.
So many buckets. I mean, that's what it's just that it gets co-opted so easily for everyone's agendas. And you get into, the secret shadow government,
Well, they're the only ones whose agenda it doesn't co-opt into, because apparently the inner Earth is trying to fight against the New World Order and the Illuminati, and that the New World Order wants to keep it a secret so that people don't wise up and be like, hey, you guys are being assholes to us. These guys really know how to live. This is how we should be living. So overthrow the corporations and let's go down there and get our non-genetically modified Monsanto.
Well, I mean, if I go to the middle, I almost said Middle Earth. If I go to the Hollow Earth,
You go to Mordor.
I mean, how do you pick a city? I mean,
Do them all.
why not?
Who cares? You'll probably be there a year.
Yeah, that's right. That seems to be the standard. Yeah, you go there, you kick it for a while. What about sports teams? Do the
I don't know. Is there competition?
do the Shambhala Razorbacks ever play the Shangri-La Blue Devils? Does that ever happen? Is there a Olympics? Oh yeah!
Oh, we're already into the puns.
That was a really good one. That one's a freebie. That was a good one. Olympics.
Oh man. Well, I'm ready for the puns.
Yeah, that's a pretty good time to start. Let's start that shit up.
Geez, I don't know. I'm feeling frustrated after this more than anything. It's like, dig into this hole and just watch the dirt fall around you.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's why I like talking about it. But I think this is also one of the most fantastically bullshit things. Because it's every person's account, everything, it's just always whatever they want it to be.
Yeah.
It's like a tale told by a 4-year-old.
I wouldn't. You got to think. Is there somebody out there, some sadistic fool, Nazis maybe, who in the day thought, well, let's find the inner Earth because it's where they kill everybody and it's nothing but anarchy and martial law and there's guns everywhere.
It's our
bigger
heaven.
Guns than what we've got. The bullets fly faster and farther.
It's like Big Rock Candy Mountain.
Maybe that's the entrance.
Oh my gosh, that was a folk tale about a hobo who climbed into a boxcar, and when he came out, he was in the Hollow Earth.
Big Rock Candy Mountain is the mountain that you see before you go.
Yeah.
And it turns into a river.
And they hung the jerk who invented work. The Big Rock Candy Mountain.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of more lines from that, and all I can think of is socks, and I don't know. All the bars have rubber bars.
All the cops
prisons.
have wooden legs.
Wooden legs,
And the hens lay soft boiled eggs. And they hung the jerk who invented work. In the Big Rock Candy Mountain. Thank you.
Oh,
and there's a river of stew, and you can paddle all around it in a big canoe.
What's the sock line? I can't think of the sock line.
You probably don't have to wear them. I don't know.
Oh,
See,
geez.
the Hollow Earth is whatever you want it to be. You like sandals? It's Sandaltown.
All right. So puns.
Puns.
So there's this new Broadway musical down there called Hollow Dolly.
Oh God, that is atrocious. Do you think that my Hollow Earth doo-wop group Shambhala would have a chance to be in that? Yeah.
I don't know. They'd have to audition. Actually, they're just handed the part because there's no competition.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's my Agartha. There's also, you can make sure when you're in Shangri-La or Telos, make sure you visit the magic shop called Shazambala.
Nice. If you're out shopping, please stop by the Agartha Brothers stash boxes. Nobody knows it's hollow. You can hide your weed from the world government and from everyone.
It can be any drug you choose.
Exactly. Put mashed potatoes in there,
Yep.
and then you can smoke them, and it's like the best. But you don't even have to smoke them because you possess them, that makes them make you high. I don't know.
Yeah, that'll work. And the Big Rock can. where everything's described as pumpkins. That's my Agartha.
The great Hollow Earth debate. And if you, the listener, have anything to add, I am begging you to tell us, because part of what I tell myself about my shoddy research is that way you can point out when we're just horribly wrong.
Yeah.
If our gourd and fruit based and descriptions of the Hollow Earth didn't jive with your version of reality, let us know.
Yeah.
Tell us how dumb we are.
Why not? Because we're not showing it enough.
Yeah.
We didn't even touch on half the crap that's out there, like Colonel Billy Fay Woodard, who is apparently from the Hollow Earth. I mean, there's so much still. You can dive into the pool and
do they have names
breathe.
like Billy Fay Woodard in the Hollow Earth? Because
he's adopted.
Oh, okay. All right. Not his fault. You're right. The Hollow Earth is exhausting. It is like trying to argue with a 4-year-old.
Or a Republican.
Oh, he did it. And travel all around it in a big canoe with a big rock candy bottle.
Will you please look up the lyrics so we find out what the sock line is?
Yeah, there's also a thing about the dogs have rubber teeth.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe it's not the prisons have rubber bars. What kind of sense does that make?
Yeah, why would you even go? Yeah, but there's some things that, let's see, here we go.
Yeah, jungle fires were burning.
Cigarette trees. There's cancer in Big Rock Candy Mountain.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, all the bulldogs have rubber teeth, and the hens lay soft-boiled eggs. Cops have wooden legs. I am so good at this. I've already been there.
Find the socks.
You never change your socks.
That's it. You never change your socks. And the little streams of alcohol come trickling down the rocks.
There's a lake of stew and of whiskey, too. I hope they don't mix. We are rambling.
Well, it's hardcore, but
okay.
this really is the inner Earth, I think.
Yeah, this is the Hollow Earth. But here, things that I'd like to point out: there is a lake of stew. The bulldogs have rubber teeth. There's a cigarette tree. But you know what your big trick is there? You don't have to change your socks. That's the thing.
That's what sticks with you, apparently.
That's the thing that you are most into. I hate changing them socks.
Wow. Check out the lyrics to Big Rock Candy Mountain and I dare you to not think that this is the Hollow Earth.
Yeah. And
this is Shambhala, folks.
I know this is our 4th episode, but is this the episode that broke us? Because, man, I just feel like my brain's it's like the teeth of a dog in Hollow Earth. It's rubber.
It's true. And the funny thing is, it's all downhill from here until you go over that crest, and then it's uphill again.
Right.
Whew. This has been the 4th episode of Blurry Photos.
Wow, the blurriest.
Well, you know what? This is the 5th episode because I'm going to split this stupid thing into 2.
Because people are going to get halfway through and go like, "Why does it end?"
This is the 4th episode, Part B, and thank you if you have survived it.
Yeah, you send us an email and we'll reply to it with like a big certificate, like I made it through.
You're making promises that it's going to cost money to keep.
No. We just email them a certificate. I'll make the certificate in MS Paint, and it'll be great, and they'll be really proud of themselves. But here's the thing: the only way we'll know that you listened to the whole thing is that the password is Big Rock Candy.
No, who wrote it? Harry McClintock?
Yeah, the password is McClintock.
McClintock is the password.
And then you get your certificate, your MS Paint, I listened to the both parts certificate.
So visit us at blurryphotos.org.
Yes, please do.
There's a little form on there under the contact page where you can send us all kinds of stuff in a nice little handy email form.
Yeah, just tell us whatever you want. If there are things that you would like to see done differently, tell us.
That's true. We're a little ahead of the curve on recording, so it might take a couple shows to get that implemented. But we'll
we're very proactive, so you can't stop the river, but you might be able to guide it.
You might be able to take it into dinosaurs and huge grape land.
Oh my God.
We're still doing it. We're still doing it.
We can't get away from it.
Signing off now for Blurry Photos.
Yeah.
I think I'm still David Flora.
At least 76% of me will be Dave Stecco for the next couple hours.
We'll see what happens with the next episode. Bye. Bye.
I'll see you all this coming fall in the big rock candy mountain.